Hey guys, welcome into today's video. This is going to be a brand new series on my channel. It's going to be a foundation a day for 42 days. The reason that I wanted to start this video is that I have 51 foundations in my permanent collection. It's the number 2 item, maybe number 1 right now, of makeup that I really like testing. I'm really into testing new foundations. It switches back and forth usually between blush, eyeshadow, and foundation, my 3 favorite makeup categories, probably a lot of people's favorite makeup categories. But 51 foundations is just too much for me to have in my collection. I recently did a makeup declutter, and I will link that up in the cards, where I went through my whole collection and I decluttered, breaking some of my makeup into 3 different categories: keep, declutter, and then I made up a third, which was items that I want to keep for reference, but I'm going to take out of my permanent collection and move into the closet where I keep makeup that I think is popular, relevant, things that I may want to reference in future videos, but that I don't want to use in my personal everyday life. But I did not do that with foundation. And recently I've gone through a really big skin change. In the last 8 months to a year, I have gone from really, really dry skin to very, very oily skin, and a lot of foundations that used to work for me that were more on the dewy, natural finish side just aren't working these days. So I'm grabbing and loving more matte foundations. So some of my foundations in my collection predate my skin change. So the reason for this series, I don't want to just declutter foundations based on memory. I want to retest a lot of them because some of them are pretty expensive. Some of them I may re-love, some of them I may not like or may not work for me now, and it's time to make that determination. So while I have 51 foundations in my collection, this is foundation a day for 42 days because there are 9 foundations I have already made a decision on. Some of them I'm actually testing. They haven't gone into speed reviews, but I've worn them very recently, so I know exactly how I feel about them, but I will have to move them into wherever they're going to go, keep, declutter, or in the reference pile. And then there are some that I'm testing that I already absolutely love, haven't gone into a speed reviews, and I know that I'm going to be keeping them. And then 2 of them I have already made the decision that I'm going to declutter. Welcome into day 32, you guys. I'm very, very excited because I am looking at my stash and I only have a couple of foundations left, 10 to be exact, including today. So that makes me feel pretty good because I feel like I can get it done by the end of the month of January. So on today's agenda, you guys, is the Clarins Everlasting Youth Fluid Foundation. The reason that I wanted to do this one today is because I'm just looking for more of a satin finish. No other reason. I actually ditched the one that I was gonna do, so this one is up. Let's get into talking about it. So the full name of this is the Clarins Everlasting Youth Fluid Anti-Aging Foundation. I am pulling all of this information from the Clarins website. It is supposed to come in 24 shades. Right now it looks like only 13 of those shades are available. I have mine in the shade 130N. It looks like a pretty bad shade range. Most of them appear to be all light, at least the ones that are still available. This has a claim of being an illuminating and firming foundation. It comes with 5+ plant extracts, which are known to have skincare benefits, and it comes with hyaluronic acid. It's supposed to provide a glowy satin finish for up to 10-hour wear with 24-hour hydration. It's supposed to be transfer-proof and breathable. The claims are it has a just applied look for hours. It's supposed to be for all skin types. It's medium to full coverage, they say, made in France with a 1 fluid ounce and an 18-month shelf life. So the one thing here that I found very interesting was the glowy satin finish for up to 10 hours. So they don't claim like 24-hour wear time. They don't claim 20, 12, any of that. They actually say 10. So we'll definitely test that out because I think we'll probably have this on for about 10 hours today. I also found it interesting that it has an 18-month shelf life with all of the skincare benefits in it. It does list in the ingredient list all the different plant extracts that come in it. Like it said, there's about 5+. I don't know, maybe that means like 6. I did not list them all, you guys, but they are very well listed on their website, even under their description. I must have cut my tongue or something because it's now rubbing on the back part of the left side of my teeth and it's hurting, so I'm talking very funny, so I really apologize. What I remember about this foundation is that it did give a satin finish and it wasn't overly glowy. I would say it was more full coverage with the amount that I used. This does have a fragrance to it, and I wouldn't say it's my most fragrant foundation, but I can definitely smell it. It doesn't smell perfumey per se, but definitely kind of a makeup-y smell, I guess, is kind of what it smells like, and a little bit of perfume. I do remember the scent kind of lingering. If you guys are very sensitive to smell, this probably wouldn't be a foundation to check out, honestly. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's unavoidable, basically. So that's pretty much all I remember about it. I don't remember how long it wore. Just remember it being a pretty full coverage foundation. And by the way, it's like 50 degrees outside today, so I'm in my little fluffy jacket. It makes my shoulders look huge, but I refuse to take it off. I'm so comfortable in this thing. So today I am just going to apply this with a brush. I would say the consistency of this foundation does look a little bit whipped, but it feels very lightweight. Like on my swatch and when I was rubbing it in, the little bit that I used to show you guys a close-up of it and then rubbed it into the hand, it seemed very natural looking. It did not look like full coverage like some of the swatches that I do. So here we go. I want to say this is one of the foundations that has the closest shade match to me. Not too light, not too deep, 130N. I would definitely say this is the closest shade match to my skin tone that I have in any foundation, quite honestly. It's a little bit on the beigey side as far as like undertone, but I think the color of it is so closely matched to really what I should be wearing. I have been told I have like a cool undertone. I think mine's mostly neutral. But, you know, I get away with a lot of different undertones. I can't really figure out, other than cool, what my undertone is. So I try and play it safe with neutral, but, you know, that doesn't always mean it's not going to come out like yellow or warm leaning. I think this is pretty medium coverage. Did I miss like right here? You can see a tiny bit of radiance, but sometimes I even see that with my matte foundations. It kind of feels on the drier side. It doesn't feel overly hydrating, but I will note it does have dimethicone in it as the second ingredient, which is known for hydrating properties in foundations. And now I'm looking for that as I'm doing these wear tests. I use so little on that side of my face. I really tried to go in light because I remember this being a more full coverage foundation. So I like that. I think less is more with this. Yeah, less is definitely more, and I can definitely smell it. So I will notate, like if I still continue to smell it after I finish the rest of my makeup, that you can just smell this makeup-y kind of sweet smell coming off of this foundation right now. It definitely feels heavier on the skin. Yeah, it's quite heavy actually. That's why I think less is more with this. I definitely think it's more full coverage than medium coverage, and I have gone overboard with this foundation in the past. I think it gives a satin finish. It just feels like it's a little bit drier on the skin. So anyway, this is what it looks like with first application. I'm gonna go finish the rest of my makeup. We're gonna do a check-in all put together. What I do is a natural light check-in right after application. I do a natural light check-in at 4 hours, and then we come back at the end of the night and we take a look at how the foundation is holding up, because ultimately the goal is to decide whether or not this foundation stays in my collection or whether it goes, and we're trying to cut everything in half. So let me go finish my makeup and I will be right back. So far, I am absolutely loving the way the complexion is looking. Of course, when I powdered over everything, it took away a lot of whatever satin kind of radiance was left behind. Right now it looks like a more mattifying foundation. The scent is still there, but it's dissipating. It's not as intense. I can pretty much tolerate a lot of scents in my foundations, but if you guys can't, I feel like this is not a foundation I would recommend for you. I have not used this foundation long enough to know whether or not I see visible results of firming or anything that it kind of claims in terms of additional hydration, but I like the way that this looks on the face. So for now, let me go show you guys what it looks like in natural light. I'll go about my day, I'll do my wear test, and I'll check in with you guys, and I'll see you guys back here at the end of the evening. Well, welcome back, you guys. It's actually been 12 hours. It's 9:30 now, and I applied the foundation at 9:30 this morning. I honestly have had a better wear test with this foundation and the last couple than I've had. So 12 hours is a really good wear test for me. I definitely noticed it coming off of my nose. I mean, right now, but it still did. At around the 5-hour mark is when I checked in. I was totally busy and not paying attention to the wear of it, like from 0 to 5 hours. I'm yawning. I can't stop yawning, so I'm really, really sorry. We had a really long night tonight. My son does his ninja class. It was all over the place. Today was quite crazy. So I'm gonna try and hang in there until I get through this. I'm gonna throw up the videos now. So right when I checked in, it was like right away, right after application. And I told you guys before I left, it was on the drier side. It actually felt pretty dry on my skin. I noticed that it looked pretty dry around my nose. And then when I checked in at the 5-hour mark, of course it had started to come off on my nose because I started to get a little bit oily. and it's just naturally kind of dissipating. It was still dry, like I could definitely see it around my nose. I noticed that this foundation was drier than it claimed, and I noticed that the first time that I tried it too. I feel like it's a more full coverage foundation, but I also feel like it warms up with my sweat, you know, like as my skin starts to warm up, my oils start to come through, not necessarily sweat, but I feel like it looks better and more natural as it wears. But I still feel like for something that's meant to be hydrating, not a product I would probably recommend to people with dry skin. I know that when I had dry skin, I kind of stayed away from full coverage foundations in general, as like a general rule, because I didn't feel as though they performed the best on my skin. So yeah, I think this is pretty full coverage right away. Medium to full coverage, but I don't know, teetering on the more full coverage side. I just liked the way that this wore on me. I have to say, like, in terms of longevity, even though it looked a little bit dry, it was still longer lasting than a lot of my foundations. And I really haven't used this too much. As you can see, not a ton of product is gone. And it does have an 18-month shelf life, and it has not exceeded or reached that time. So on day 32, you guys, I am gonna keep the Clarins Everlasting Youth Fluid. I have so many days of notes here. I have to go pretty far back. Ooh, that puts me at a tie. That's not boding well for the rest of my foundations. So I have Decluttered 16, and this makes Keep 16. I don't know if I'm going to make it to half of my foundations decluttered. We still shall see. We have days 33 through 42 left to test that out. As always, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are enjoying the series. I am out of here for this evening, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye, guys.